the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
And hello, everybody. I am Michael.
I'm John.
And I'm Andrew, and welcome to episode 98 of the Toy Rewind Podcast. Just a little podcast where the three of us like to get together and talk about toys from our childhoods, and hopefully your childhoods too. Give you a little history lesson, or Michael likes to give you a history lesson about how those toy lines came to be created and ended up in all of our houses. This week, we rewind back to 1986 to talk about a kind of a space line, just kind of fun action figure line from Coleco. Did I say that right? Coleco?
Yeah,
from Coleco. Yep, we're going to talk about StarCom, the U.S. Space Force. And so I am hoping that Michael tells us there's a figure based off of Steve Carell in this. If not, then I guess they were just way too early. Way too early for their time.
Yeah.
What do you guys got going on this week?
Not much.
Football.
Working. About it. It's been crazy. I did get a Motoring Monday out.
You did get it. We did. Yeah. I saw that post. I got to watch it. Was it good? I've been working, so yeah. For once,
I think it's good. Well, I fumbled and bumbled through it, but yeah.
Yeah, Andrew's no longer being able to sit at home watching everything. He's actually got to work. So
since we started this podcast, like this week's the first week I've been in an office since we started the podcast. So it's very interesting not being able to just watch whatever I want and do whatever I want. So, you know.
Yeah, I just went over some. There was a line of Hot Wheels that came out from 79 to 84 called The Heroes, and it was just some castings that had Marvel characters on it. Thor, The Thing, Human Torch, Spider-Man, Captain America, Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man, and Silver Surfer. So
did you happen to mention the new DeLorean? Sorry.
No, that's not a Marvel property. So,
well, I just didn't know if you mentioned it on your Motoring Monday because it released this, like the released this week.
We might. I got a special Mattel order for 2-pack with the DeLorean DM, the 12, and then the new Alpha 5 coming, but I don't know when that's going to be here. So when it does get here eventually. It may be a year down the road. I don't know, depending on how things go. I don't know.
Who knows? You never know about pre-orders these days.
Yeah,
so,
but we do.
Right.
We will have an episode sometime down the line for the different DeLoreans because I have a lot of different ones. And, yeah, but I also went over some of these newer castings they got, like the X-wing or the X-jet,
nice.
The X-Men jet. You have the Milano. Guardian of the Galaxy's Milano. You've got the Spider-Man buggy, Dune buggy. It was one of the cartoons. And then the Japanese Spider-Man car. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But that's from the Japan.
And he gets a special car?
Yeah. Yeah, the Spider-Man, the Japanese Spider-Man is a little different than our Spider-Man.
Yeah. Not to say that I don't care about Marvel, but we still need to do our live talking about superpowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
We may end up getting, since I do have a Green Lantern.
Yeah, I saw that other one.
I've got Hal Jordan here, and then I think that's and then what's the other? The other one is the one that's out now. For some reason I can't remember his name. So
John Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart. Yeah.
John Stewart.
Yeah, here's another
the
one.
Thanos one?
The Thanos copter from the Loki show.
Thanos copter. Because that's what Thanos needs. He needs a helicopter.
Yeah. So that's from the Loki TV show. or
I don't think
Disney
Mephisto
Plus.
can do it.
No, Mephisto can't fit in that. No, he probably could. So,
No, I said the fist with Thanos.
oh, the Thanos' fist. Oh, I thought you said Mephisto.
The gauntlet.
Yeah, the gauntlet. There you go.
It's been a long day. Sorry.
Well,
let's get on.
been a very long
go ahead.
Let me say
Go ahead,
one thing real quick. We did watch a episode of the what show was that? It's a little cartoon. I can't remember, but it had was it Night Hawk or something like that, and it was voiced by Batman himself, Adam West.
Adam West.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. So
one of the true Batmans.
the Superhero Squad. That's it. The little TV show.
Okay.
Yeah, the Superhero Squad.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. So
it's been such a crazy week. I got the new Fig Pen Batman pins. They're sitting right here behind me. I have opened them and glanced at them. That's about it. I posted about them. That was it. One of these days I'll get to really open it up and take a look at them. So hopefully we'll do that. We got to get that other live going for those. I had the Batwing sitting there. Get that going. Did you happen to find a supercar, Michael?
Not yet. I haven't seen it show up in my area yet.
Okay. When I get back over to Wally World, I will grab one for you if I see it.
And if you got those Green Lanterns, I don't know if they'll show up. I don't know if they're selling that well around here for us to get one. There
was so many of them at the Walmart. So when I make it back there, it might be this weekend. I will if they still have my gravel. Okay. Well, John, why don't you do your thing so we can get to talking about some toys?
All right, so let's talk about our social networks. Check our websites over at toyrewindpodcast.com. You can also look us up at crossthestreamsmedia.com. If you go to Cross the Streams Media, go on there and leave us a voicemail. We'd love to hear them. You can email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube, of course, is Toy Rewind Podcast. Make sure you do that so you get directed straight to us. As Michael was just talking about his Motor and Monday, we do put those up on YouTube. When we get a chance and can do some more of our toy box showcases, we're going to put those up as well. And then if you want to play a game while you're listening to us, check out our podcast bingo over at podcastbingo.com/Toy Rewind.
Toy Rewind. Go check out all those socials. Dropping starting right after this episode drops, which will be on the 2nd. We're going to start dropping some hints about our 100th episode and some giveaways that we're going to do. We are also going to be doing that. I don't remember if we talked about it on the podcast last week, but I definitely think I posted something about it. We're doing that live. I don't know if I announced the date, but we are doing the 100th episode live, hopefully to be joined by a few past guests that can drop in and just drop in for a few minutes or whatever. And maybe some other people from our Cross Streams Media. We are still trying to get some stuff lined up, so you'll start to see that post, but you'll get to see all that. We want to hear back from you on that, so we have a great 100th episode. It'll be a lot of fun. And so the only way we get to 100 is by getting past this one. So Michael, John, you guys ready to do some toy talk?
Let's do it. So right. 98.
Here we go.
Oh, hit the mute button on accident. I didn't know what was going on. Okay, so this week we're talking about StarCom, the U.S. Space Force. So StarCom, it was an action figure line put out by Coleco in 1986, and it was co-developed with NASA's Young Astronaut Council. So Coleco, you know them from ColecoVision. They've done Atari games and stuff like that. The little handheld games, your football, soccer, all that kind of stuff. Those little handheld games you had, those were Coleco. Coleco also put out the Cabbage Patch Dolls. We spoke that a little bit. We did.
I knew Coleco sounded familiar. Yeah, like when you said it.
Yeah. So after the crash of the video games market in the mid 80s, Coleco, they had ColecoVision, like I said. They made games for Atari 2600. They also tried their hand unsuccessfully with the home computer. And the home computer was like an expansion for the ColecoVision as well. They called that Coleco Atom, and it did not work. It had too many failed things in it that it would just crash on you and would never work again. So I don't build computers, but I know there was stuff in there that made it not work after a little bit. So this line, so they were looking for something to help sales, since all that stuff that they were doing, all the gaming and stuff like that, the bottom just dropped out in the early 80s. This was right before Nintendo came out and got the video games back going again. So they kind of did a collab with the NASA to develop this line and kind of get kids interested in space stuff. So NASA and all that. NASA was a big thing, especially in the 80s. It was a huge thing in the 80s.
Yeah.
So the complete series consisted of like 38 figures, 24 vehicles, and 8 playsets. The line was supported by a cartoon, like all 80s toy lines did. That this only consisted of 13 episodes and aired from September of 87 to December of 87. And then something cool about this is I was reading on this. They had some talented writers write the episodes, like most notably was it Bryn Chandler? She's known for Gargoyles, Spider-Man the animated series, Batman the animated series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and He-Man Masters of the Universe is what she worked on back in the day. Michael Reeves was another writer. He was big on Gargoyles and the Batman animated series. And then this is one I recognize, Marv Wolfman. He's most notably a comic book writer for DC and Marvel. I know him from the DC titles he has. The new Teen Titans, and then the Superman stuff from the early 80s or late 80s, early 90s. That era is where he came in at on that. So Marvel, he did Blade, and I'm trying to remember another one, but that's off the top of my head there. So but he's real big in the Marvel in the comic book realm of things. So as all toy lines from the 1980s do, StarCom had two factions of it. You had good versus evil. You can't have a toy line from the 80s that wasn't good versus evil.
Nope.
Unless you're Cabbage Patch Dolls. That's it. I guess you would have the Garbage Pail Kids as their evil.
That's the evil.
I guess. I don't know. So, so you had the heroic StarCom, which was divided into 3 different branches. You had the Astro Marines, the Star Wing, and then Starbase Command. So that's your 3 that you had. And then the evil Shadow Force was the bad guys. They had there was some different bad guys, and they had robot drones on their side as well. So the 3 branches of good guys, they all have their own kind of logo that kind of tell them apart. The Astro Marines, they had like a cross rifles in an orange patch on their chest. The Star Wing faction had an eagle in a blue circle or a blue patch. And then Starbase Command had an 8-pointed star and a blue patch on their chest. So that's how you could tell the different factions between the good guys. The centerpiece gimmicks of this line, you always had a line or a gimmick for each line of the toy line in the 80s. There was always something. Mm-hmm. So the gimmicks on this, you had Magna Lock, and then you had Power Deploy. So all of these figures were like 2 1/4 inch tall. They were small enough they could fit in your pocket, whatever. They featured permanent magnets that embedded in their soles of their boots, allowing them to stick to metal plates attached to vehicles and playsets. So all your vehicles, all your playsets had some kind of metal piece in them to where your figure could just stand on it and not fall off or fall over. You can also take these and just stick them to anything around the house or whatever, and have them just standing on the side of the wall or your refrigerator, and it looks like he's standing on the side of the moon or something, I guess. So
that's actually kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So the vehicles and playsets also featured magnets on them, often on the bottom of the aircraft or cranes to lift other vehicles. There's usually the magnets usually on the bottom part, and there's a metal piece on the top. So some of these smaller vehicles fold up and can be stored underneath or transported by one of the bigger pieces, like cargo. Like they kind of fold up like a cargo box, and then pods, something like that, and it would hold together by a magnet, and you can transport the smaller vehicles with the bigger vehicles. That's kind of what the gimmick is on that. The power deploy feature was on the vehicles and playsets. These involved spring-loaded or motorized transformations, often with a sort of mechanical resistor that produced a distinct whir noise as components slowly rotated into place. It just kind of made it sound like it's actually there's a real motor in there. So there was.
Refer to that as a whir noise.
A whir noise, yeah.
Is that official? Is that what they called it? The whir noise.
That's what I saw in all the when I was doing the research. That's what they officially called it, a whir noise.
Interesting.
So,
if you hear that noise, you know what it is.
I typically think my car's not starting.
Instinctive.
No, that's
no, not that one.
No, you want to.
You want it. It's a little deeper. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So these had little wind up motors. You can wind them up, and then you could press a button, and it would do whatever feature it's supposed to do. If it's supposed to fold up, it'll fold up. If it folds out, it folds out. There was no batteries or anything in these. They were just all kind of a wind up motor, or you kind of pulled it back to wind it up, and then you hit the button and it would do whatever it's supposed to do. So these were said to be developed by Tommy, who featured the wind up motors in their Zoids line. So if I know we've kind of mentioned Zoids before in one of the other episodes, but they had a wind up feature and the Zoids, and these motors were similar to, or almost exactly the same as those that they used in the Zoids. While some of the features were just spring loaded and popped open, the whirring motors and resistors gave it an impression of weight and power of a real life machine. So that's what I was trying to say a while ago. So it kind of sounds like a real life machine when you got it going. The power deploy features of most smaller vehicles involves them converting into a portable pod of a standard size and shape, each with a metal plate on top of the center for magnetic lifting. These pods could then be fit into compartments or larger vehicles or stacked with magnets. So we kind of just mentioned that.
Yeah.
So the first two waves that came out in 1986 and 87 of the vehicles included a unique pilot or driver figures, and then additional figures were released on blister cards with weapons and backpacks and stuff like that. So the first two waves with the vehicles, you had a specific driver with these. The later releases, when they came out, they were just kind of a random driver put in there, which most of them didn't have one. And when they got to certain distribution centers or whatever, they would open it up, put a random figure in there, card and all probably, and then sealed it back up and shipped it out to the stores. So it's kind of a weird thing they did back then. let's see. Later, let's see. Yeah, like I said, later vehicles sold in the UK and Europe did not have exclusive drivers, but were sometimes packed with a random figure. Yeah, I just said that. So the figures were highly. Well, I just say it, then I'll see it's in my notes. So,
Deja vu.
Yeah, deja vu all over again. The figures were highly detailed with the ornate decorations on their chest, heads, and arms, unique face molds, and then 7 points of articulation on these. Most figures, except the drones, included a small pivoting visor that clipped onto their helmet. So that's something if you're looking at the figures, buying figures or whatever, if you got your figures, that's something that could be easily lost is that visor. Yeah. So
sounds like all the visors from Lego.
Yeah, kind of sort of like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, due to poor promotion and the fact that the cartoon only lasted a year in syndication, it had those September to December on their original release. They ended up being almost a year in syndication as well, but it didn't go over very well. So the line was actually canceled in the U.S. after the first two waves, but they ended up doing really well in Europe with the toys and the show. They were both very popular in Europe and the UK. Let's see. We may have touched this in earlier episodes, but Coleco did file for bankruptcy because this line didn't really do what they wanted it to do. And they already had enough issues with the electronic stuff from the mid 80s that didn't do very well. They did well at first, and then just the bottom dropped on the electronics, the gaming industry. So they actually filed for bankruptcy in the late 80s. And then actually Mattel picked up this line in 1989. So Mattel, I think they actually bought most of Coleco to start off with. So a couple things. So the waves that came out. So the first wave, and we can go through all the figures and stuff here in a minute. But the first wave was in 1986. It was released in U.S. and Canada. And then late 86, early 87, it was released in the UK and parts of Europe. Now, the second wave was 1987. It was released in the US, the UK, Canada, and parts of Europe. And then the third wave was from 1988. It was released only in the UK, Canada, and parts of Europe. So third wave didn't even see anything in the US. It all went outside the US. And then the fourth wave, it wasn't in the U.S. or Canada. It wasn't even in North America. It was all so that was 1989. It was in UK and Europe only. And then Mattel took over the line in May of 1989. One other thing to say about this line, once they exited the U.S., all the toys and stuff made after that, they took the U.S. flag off of it and the NASA logos on it as well. So it was just a SpaceCom or StarCom. That was it. No space, no NASA, and no USA on it. So, if you want to, we can go over the figures.
You said they were they're like 2.5, 2 3/4 inch.
2 1/4 inch.
2 1/4
inch.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 1/4. I know a lot of things say 2 inches, but the official was 2 1/4.
2 1/4.
So it's shorter. They're shorter than your GI Joes and stuff like that. So
the cards on these give me very much a like kind of GI Joe feel to them, because you've got these basically army kind of military Space Force type guys and space suits, and they got the red backgrounds and little figures off to the side on the yellow, but the artwork on the actual card with the Space Force guy or lady or whatever, like, it's really good. I like it.
Yeah, the card art looks really good. They also have
the card art.
Yeah, they also have the cards on the back, the info on them. what do you want to call them? I can't remember, but the trying to see my.
I don't see any of these with like pictures of the back, but yeah, I can assume that the backs are kind of like the other ones, like
Yeah, the profile cards is what they're called.
yeah.
So they have profile cards on the back of them too, similar to GI Joe. Now they're not as detailed as the GI Joe ones, but they do have some on there. So
I mean, these are really cool. I like them. I think we need to. I mean, the figures and the weapons they have, those kind of all. They're kind of all the same. The same kind of stuff. You got the plastic little figures or the plastic little weapons that go with the figures or whatever. I do want to real quickly talk about Emperor Dark.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's weird looking.
Yeah, he's let me find him. He's actually he was a mail-in only in Canada, I believe is what I read.
He's a mail-in only in Canada.
Yeah, he's a Canada only mail-in figure. He comes with a. Let me find. Yeah, he's got
the 1987.
He's got the little vinyl coat on it, or jacket, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Robe, I guess. It's kind of like a little Darth Vader from the first Star Wars line. It had the little cape, I guess. I don't know how you want to put it, but it goes over it's like a long vest. It goes down to his ankles.
It doesn't go over. It doesn't have sleeves on it. It's just like one. Yeah. I don't know how you really explain it, but yeah, I guess that's how you would explain it.
And
but
he also comes with a shadow scepter.
The best part about this guy, I mean, we obviously know he's from the 80s, but if this guy showed up at WWF, like, I wouldn't think anything of it. Like, he just roll out and wrestle, and in the 80s would be fine.
Yeah, he's got that flat top that kind of fees out from the head, and it's flat on top. It's wider on top. Yeah, it's kind of a weird look for him. Yeah, I mean, it's the 80s. It's an 80s cartoon figure. Yeah,
and then he's
definitely
the upside down Triforce on his chest.
Oh, I didn't even notice that it was an upside down Triforce.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, had I paid more attention, I would have noticed that. But it matches his head, John. It's not a Triforce. It matches his head. The top part being the top part of his hair, and the bottom part being his
goatee.
But yeah, it does match his head. But yeah, it is an upside down. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one for sale on eBay for $25.
I got one for $28.90 still in the package.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
But I don't see collectible. Any... You said something about a shadow scepter. I don't see anything else in the bag with them unless it's behind them.
It's probably not there.
Yeah.
It's probably out of the bag. Let's see.
This line is really cool. These let's see if I can get one of these. This is the laser artillery.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool little, like, action pod there. Some guns and
folds out. Yeah.
This one is the Starbase Command Headquarters. I kind of like this. It's very spacey.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like what you would expect a little pod on the moon or Jupiter would look like. I don't know. Can we get to Jupiter? I don't know.
It's got the little stilts it stands on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got little stilts. It's got a little antenna, orange antenna on the side, some guns. Because obviously by the time we get to Jupiter, there are aliens. And we're going to need to shoot those aliens. And it's got like a little spacewalk thing that's in there between some stuff. Very, very spacey. Let's see. Let's talk about this is the Harv 7. Yep. Little space car here. Everything has guns. Got to have guns.
Yep.
Got to be able to shoot people.
Now all these vehicles we're looking at, they do have that function where they fold out. That make them bigger to make them look bigger and more menacing on some stuff. So, yeah.
The SFB Starhawk fighter bomber. This looks more just, awesome fighter bomber, not necessarily space. I see how this is space, but more F-16 to me than necessarily
it's like
shit. But yeah, but it is a dual cabin. Well, I guess not a dual cabin. Like there are 2 cockpits there.
Yeah, it looks like two planes with
2 wings.
Each of them have the opposite wings cut off, and they just glued them together.
Yeah,
right. Michael, do you know what the function is on this one?
To shoot
buttons? Not off the top of my head.
Okay, because I don't know this one, but I know one of the other ones. But you see the little gray button right there on the side?
Yes.
Each one of those, you press that button, and that's where the motorized stuff comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So
I assume it drops bombs, and maybe I don't know. Which one do you know, John?
The 6-shooter.
Let's talk about it. You can tell us what it does while I try to find it.
So the 6-shooter, there's 2 buttons, and oh man, you'd have to pull it up because it's like the way it is, and then one of the buttons spreads the wings out, and 6 guns come out. Hence the name 6-shooter.
Mm-hmm. I lost all my stuff.
And then the other button, it has a cargo bay in it, and when you hit it, you can have one of the pods in there, and when you hit the button, it'll bring it to the top, open up, and bring it up. And then depending on how you set the pod in there, if you set the pod in there and hit the button right as you close it, the pod will open up. As it opens up, it comes up, and then the pod will do its deploy, the power deploy too. So
thank you, Michael. Pretty cool. I was gonna say, I cannot find it on my list, so I'm glad Michael found it.
So
this is one I saw, and I pulled up, and the guy was going over it, and I mean, it's just a space shuttle that goes out there. It's got, like I said, you hit one of the buttons, and the front of it opens up, and 6 guns come out, and it's pretty cool how it opens up, and of course, as Michael said, with that unique noise, however you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. The whir noise.
The whir noise. It goes, and then it's opened up, and 6 guns are coming at you.
Yeah.
So,
and it's got,
like you said, cool to see that, you can do it at the same time with the pods and set the pod up on the inside to deploy its power deploy as soon as it opens up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's got where it's got the pod. It'll sit down inside of it.
Right in there.
It also has the a magnetic thing where another spaceship can sit on top of it. So yeah, it's pretty cool how these things all kind of connect with the magnets. That's what's pretty cool.
This is very Star Warsy to me.
It kind of looks like Battlestar Galactica to me.
I get that too. I was just thinking like Battle of Hoth, and maybe it's the white part of like.
Those look like the little Hoth. Yeah, the way it's shaped a little bit, but it still looks more.
I see Battlestar Galactica too. Yeah. This is pretty cool. I will say, like, here's another good photo. This one's nice and clean. It's got all the little pieces on it. So it's white. It's got these. Yeah, I was having a hard time the way you were describing it, John. But seeing it with the 6, like, is very awesome. So if you're listening to us, be sure you go Google StarCom 6-shooter. It looks freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So if you're watching our video, obviously you can see it.
But I think that's one of the bigger vehicles too, I believe.
Yeah.
Of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. I don't know about the figures. Like, if it was just the figures, this line would be okay. Like, they look cool. Like, it's kind of a cool background. Especially, it sucks that they're not quite the size of G.I. Joes, because I feel like these would work really well with G.I. Joes.
Yeah,
but
it could.
but maybe when you go to space, like you get shrunk down a little or something. You know, we can pretend. We all have imagination.
Yeah.
But the vehicles, just the ones that we just looked at, and the ones that I was looking at, and the while you were talking, Michael, just makes this freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, well, let's talk about Starbase, the Starbase station.
Yeah.
This looks freaking great. Like this is like what all 80s and early 90s figures like. This gives me the vibes of obviously a space version of, you know, the TMNT sewer and all the, you know, you've got Castle Grayskull, all the cool bases that they have. Like that's what I get out of this. This is awesome.
And you've got 3 platforms there, and then the bottom, the top 2 platforms have little guns that your figures can stand behind. The bottom one has like a control panel there, and it has a bigger gun on the bottom. If you put with the magnetic features on these, if you on that elevator, when you're on the bottom floor, you put your figure on it, and it activates the elevator, and the elevator goes up. And it's without that figure on there, it won't move until you put the figure on it, and it goes up and down. Also with the gun, once you put your figure inside that little seat behind the gun, once that magnetic feature is connected, the gun starts kind of rotating back and forth like it's shooting.
So, that's cool.
Yeah, that's something cool. With you have to wind it up, but once it's wound up, and it won't do anything until that figure is put in there and it activates the magnetic part of it.
Yeah.
John, do you see any prices?
I did not get to look at prices. I was just pretty much as crazy as you, but I'll see if I can get something posted or get you something posted or whatnot.
Just based on the few things that I saw there, just that would pop up on eBay. These look like they're very collectible, without a huge price point. Like some of them are a little more expensive than others, but you're looking at large things like that Starbase. I mean, that's a bigger thing.
Yeah, that's a good size set.
Just the ones that I glanced at didn't seem like these were like huge, crazy. You know, you're paying $500 for one figure or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I kind of like these. These are really cool. What?
So I don't think that expensive, but yeah, these were pretty cool. I definitely would have wished I could either remember them or had them. One.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's rank these. Where do these things fall for you guys? I think I know where it falls for Michael.
You think you know, huh?
Yep.
Well, where do you think I'm going to put it at?
I think you're putting it in the top 6.
I do have a question though. I don't think Gigapets is that high on my list.
I don't understand why Gigapets is that high on your list either. I'm gonna have to look back and see what happened there.
It's supposed to be right above Tamagotchi.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I was like, why is that so high?
So anyway, I'm gonna put these guys because I like the motorized functions and stuff. I'm gonna put those. Gee, to me, they're kind of similar to Sky Commanders. So, I'm going to put these guys at number 5. Where'd you think I was going to put them, Andrew?
I said top 6.
Okay, you said top 6. Okay.
Yeah, I said top 6, and I only said that because of Gigapets was accidentally in there, and I saw what was going on with that. So I got that fixed for you.
Okay, that's better. Yeah. So I'm gonna put these guys at number 5. Yeah.
Number 5. Yeah. So
that kind of puts them kind of even with Sky Commanders. So Sky Commanders get pushed to 6. So yeah.
Yeah. So John, where you put these?
I think these were pretty neat. I think I definitely would have wished I had some or kept some or remembered them. But I'm kind of like Michael. I'm going to put them at number 5.
Oh, number 5. You're pushing down Biker Mice from Mars?
Yeah.
I just didn't think you were going that high. I figured you would be like number 7. I was thinking 7 for you.
No, I'm
these
I think
They kind of
I think
resemble
the vehicles are what really got me, and I do have prices now. So
yeah,
Okay.
they kind of resemble like Mask and stuff like that. The way
Mask.
they kind
Yeah,
of
that's
some of
the
them
other one I was trying to think of earlier.
with the motorized transformation on some of them. Now they don't really transform into something completely different. They just make a smaller, compact pod and open it up to make it a bigger vehicle. Is what it does on most of these. Yeah. But
So-
it does do like a Mask kind of transformation with the wind up motor.
So I'm going number 8 with this, and the reason I'm going number 8 is because everything above number 8 I remember playing with.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely one of the cooler toys that we've talked about with this group of toys in this bracket. Especially these vehicles, like I said, the figures themselves are pretty typical kind of figures. Like they're a little smaller or whatever, but they're pretty typical figures. But the vehicles and the backstory that goes with this pushes this way further than any of the rest. So I'm gonna go number 8. I think that's pretty good for all these. So John, you said you had prices.
I just pulled up and found
We're gonna
one.
we're gonna get back to prices in just a second.
Okay.
But what do you guys think? You think Larry had these?
I'll have to think. I'm gonna say yes, just for the fun of it.
I mean, these are pretty Larry-ish to me.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah.
What do you think, Larry?
Hey, it's Larry from the STS guys. What's going on, everybody? StarCom. My God, no. What is a StarCom?
Nope.
Apparently,
what
Larry
a
never heard of
start.
it either.
And he looks them up and
That's-
was like, "Oh, these are actually pretty neat."
He's gonna listen to this hopefully and be like, "Dang, those are pretty cool." So I'm sad and disappointed, Larry. All right, what do we have on prices, John?
All right, so well, those are not the right ones. That's the Bionic 6. Let me get to the right ones here. So let's talk about the StarCom Starbase that you were talking about a while ago with the elevator and everything and the guns and stuff. 1987 from JCPenney. $25.99.
$25.99 in 1987. Take a stab. What do you think? How much you think that would be today?
$85.
Right in the middle, $67.78.
So
That's about right for something that big that has. That's about right.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a pretty decent. That was the biggest, one of the biggest ones.
So I would say that's not overpriced.
No. Transport missile cruiser was $19.99. The HARV heavy armed recovery vehicle $10.99 was the cheapest one that I see on this page.
Do you see any of the actual little figures?
I don't see any of the figures. That's when I pulled it up. I thought I did, but then I realized, they're talking about the Bionic 6 up there. But no. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. No, I don't see any with just the figures on this one. I'd have to look a little bit more just for the figures. But I mean, the figures aren't much without the pods and the vehicles, so
Yeah.
Because you got to have the magnetic stuff to make it work. Most of them.
right.
Now, I did have a list of everything that was in each release, but I can't find it now. I don't know what happened to it.
I definitely think these are worth. If you don't know much about them, obviously we got a good little history lesson from Michael there. If you don't know much about them, go check them out and see what else. Because I want to learn more about these. Like I said, the vehicles and the little play sets definitely keep these up there in the top, and then make these pretty awesome. So
Wow. So they were in the 87 JCPenney book, but not the 88. So
okay,
yeah. 87 was the last year in the U.S.
yeah.
So
they weren't
did
in the 80s
see-
either.
I was looking at some of the figures, the cards, and I did see a few of them there, Michael, that had the flag and the NASA stuff removed. And I don't think I would have noticed that had you not said that once they left the U.S. that they didn't have those things, which makes sense. I just, I don't know if I would have actually noticed that.
Yeah.
So, what else? Anything we want to add about StarCom?
No, I mean I think it's a pretty cool little line, with the features that it had, the magnetic and the transformation of it, the power deploy, and what I call the other one, the Magna Lock. That's what it's called. I call it. Yeah, the Magna Lock and the power deploy parts were pretty cool. We might have had some ourselves and Larry might have even had some if they kind of did a little bit more promotion on these things. Apparently the cartoon itself wasn't that great to start off with.
Probably didn't have a teaching lesson at the end of it.
That may be why it lasted only 13 episodes. And I didn't watch any of it, but apparently the first couple episodes had to deal with like space whales or something like that instead of the good versus evil
I saw something on that.
Is this what is this, Star Trek 4?
Yeah, something like that. And then it didn't have something else that's pretty cool. Is you always see in it's got a term, but I don't know what it is. That when something happens, transforming or whatever, you get like a little theme song with it, or stuff like that. When these things actually did they're changing their power deploy in the cartoon. They just did it. There was nothing to kind of get your attention. Hey, this is what they're doing.
They just did it. They just did it.
Yeah.
There's no cool.
When stuff like that, or when when you do by the power of Grayskull, type stuff, so there was none of that in the cartoon to get your attention.
Also,
or
I feel like maybe
Thundercats, nothing like that.
I feel like it might not have lasted as well because of you got to think, that was not it was a prime time for NASA, but they were having to make up stuff maybe for the storyline. But you also have to kind of root that stuff in some reality because you have these real people from U.S. Space Force, not just like He-Man over here on another country or another planet, So maybe, I don't know. They could have just done some Star Trek stuff and maybe, had some troubles.
Like triples.
Yeah, just have those and it would all have been okay.
They have
okay.
Space whales.
That's Space Whales. Is that where Star Trek got it?
No. It came. The whales you're thinking about on Star Trek are not space whales. They're just whales. They came to Earth in the 1980s to save the whales.
Weren't they space? Weren't they in space?
No, they wasn't space. They traveled back in time to 1984, 85.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. Sorry, Ed.
So they saved real whales in real time is what they did because the whales were going extinct. So,
and that's the Star Trek that took place pretty much all on Earth, right?
Yes. You're probably
they
thinking
didn't have
about
enough.
The space whales for Star Trek or Star Wars. What do you call it? My mind's not working tonight. I can't think of anything.
Wars?
No, not the Clone Wars. The other cartoon.
I was going to say, I haven't seen them. I don't think.
Yeah, it had Thrawn in it. They used space whales to get rid of Thrawn at the end of it. Yeah,
because it was space whales. Everybody's got space whales.
We're all gonna get murdered for not thinking of what's the name of this. My mind's just. It's been a long week. Guys.
You're in trouble.
Long week. So
Aaron's gonna come out after John with
he's already mad. He's already after John already.
Y'all already got him after me.
Yeah. So
about Digipokemon.
Ed's coming. Well, Ed's gonna come after me for thinking about space whales in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Since they're not. And then I don't know who's coming after you, Michael, but somebody's going to come after you. We're all in trouble. Hopefully we make 2 more episodes before the world cancels us. Next week, we will not be talking about a toy. We will be talking about the evolution of the toy, just kind of throughout the years. So it'll be a fun, a little bit different kind of a toy conversation. So hopefully you guys will be interested in that. And then we have episode 100 coming up. We're going to answer some questions, hopefully some questions from you, what you would like to hear about our collections, about our stuff, about us growing up. And we're going to answer some that we already kind of have on the side. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, you guys get those to us. Send us those voicemails. You can do that on crossthestreamsmedia.com. Just look for the Toy Rewind podcast. It's the coolest looking icon that's on the website because we have the best looking logo, I think. Sorry, other sister podcasts, but we do. Yeah, so be sure to go send us a voicemail. We'd love to hear your thoughts, what toy lines you've loved, which ones what did we screw up over the last 98 episodes besides names, because Aaron's already told us about all those. So do that. We'd love to hear, and we'll play those for you guys if you send us a voicemail as we're doing the podcast. So and also that'll be a live, so you'll see a lot more information over that over the next week once we get settled date and everything like that. So we're really excited about that. Yeah, be sure you go check out Cross the Streams Media, ToyRewindPodcast.com, all of our social media stuff there, because that's where you're going to get that information. And Michael's got information.
Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I have not seen it, but I don't know why I didn't think about the name of it.
Yeah, they have space whales in Star Wars Rebels. Yeah.
I don't know who's coming after you, Michael, but somebody's probably going to come after you. Okay. Well, with that, we talked about StarCom this week. Great episode 98. Great toy line for us to talk about. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap it?
No, I keep thinking about Space Ghost every time I think of this too.
Coast to Coast?
Space Ghost.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it, and we will see you guys next week. And on behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind Podcast,
Coast to Coast.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind Podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.